Hey Brad, only 4 days left to being champion.
Hey guys, and welcome to another action-packed. Dirty you out there a little bit, bobbing around a little bit. Yeah. Action-packed episode of Hot Tag here for you, recapping Raw and SmackDown. We watch Raw and SmackDown, so you don't have to, but still watch. I said it last week. Still watch SmackDown. It says it right. Still watch SmackDown. Font's getting bigger. Anyway, so that's keep growing. Kicking things off with SmackDown. They got WWETLC coming up this Sunday that I'm going to plug a little bit more later on in the show. But they opened it up with Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss doing a contract signing again. We saw them do a contract signing for their No Mercy match, which, as we all know, got pulled because medical emergency. That's still, the jury's still out on what that was about, but we had a contract signing for Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch. We would see a spot where Alexa would kick Becky Lynch off the turnbuckle into a table, and they would later make the match this Sunday a tables match for the Women's Championship. Something a lot of people probably saw coming because they have stipulations for the rest of the matches. But very, very good to see. Should be interesting. I'm kind of hoping they push the length of the match. Tables matches are notoriously short, so I kind of hope they buck the trend and make it maybe a 10-15 minute match. The face team of Dolph Ziggler and Kalisto defeated Baron Corbin and the Intercontinental Champion The Miz after Baron Corbin hit Kalisto with a steel chair during their tag team match. Not really much to say here. The faces get a win. It doesn't really paint a clear picture of what's going to happen this Sunday at TLC, so that's kind of exciting, I guess. Carmella came into the ring, talked some trash about Big Match John. I took exception to that and actually smashed our patio window, so that happened. Nikki Bella will come out, seek some retribution a little bit. They would throw some muffins, but a little bit segment to add some fuel to the fire that is their match at WWETLC, a no disqualification match, just a reminder there. So we had the Ambrose Asylum segment with Dean Ambrose bringing on James Ellsworth to talk about who James Ellsworth would rather face with his future title opportunity that he won last week during the ladder match against AJ Styles. James went back and forth. AJ would ultimately come out and start a bit of a ruckus. He would incapacitate Dean, and then he hit a Styles clash on James Ellsworth from the steel steps to the floor. And it was really scary because James Ellsworth's face clipped the steel steps, and if he had had a chin, that would have been horrendous. It looked like he made it out unscathed, but thankfully his defective face saved his life probably. So any man with no chin can survive a Styles clash to the face on steel steps, I guess. So don't forget that their match, AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose TLC match at WWETLC this Sunday. Fresh out of NXT, rookie Kane got a win over the established Luke Harper. Luke Harper, a member of the Wyatt family. Kane, brand new to the main roster. He picked up a much-needed win to help elevate his career over Luke Harper clean. Really excited to see what happens with Kane going forward, as he's managed to pick up a couple of high-profile wins over Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. I'll be very interested to see where his career goes, as he is very young and has very high upside over the next 20 years. So, Kane, a young upstart to keep your eye on. The main event of the show saw what I like to call them Arbreo. I thought it was clever. They defeated American Alpha in tag team action to become the #1 contenders for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. They will go on to face Heath Slater and Rhino at WWETLC. So there's that match. I will be honest, I was surprised to see Arbreo get the win there. I figured this would be the time, because we're all waiting for it. We're all just waiting for Randy to turn on Bray, but they get to really double down if they want at WWETLC with the tag titles on the line. Oh, okay, no you're not. So over on the Raw side of things, we opened the show with Chris Jericho's highlight reel where he brought KO out yet again. They talked a little bit, and then the based big dog Roman Reigns came out, threw down the gauntlet to Kevin Owens for the Universal title. KO said, if you can beat me tonight, you get a chance, and interrupted Chris Jericho during the segment, and so trouble in paradise, as it's been alluded to over the last few weeks, finally developing there. Chris Jericho would go and actually leave the building, but in doing so will get assaulted by Seth Rollins in the back, where they cause outstanding damage to a brand newish 2008 Chevrolet Malibu, the likes of which I've never seen before. That car I don't think will ever be the same. Chris Jericho taking a pedigree on top of said Chevrolet Malibu. Just horrendous damage to such a forward-thinking automobile, I had to turn off the program for a while. Braun Strowman squashed R-Truth, just continuing that trend along. Sami Zayn came out and tried to start some stuff, but then Mick was like, no, you can't, because Braun is a psycho killer. So you'll probably see Braun and Sami at Roadblock, some type of stipulation on the line. Cruiserweight action, Tony Nese defeated Cedric Alexander. Cedric in his hometown. I don't really know. It was a chintzy win. I think Gulak was involved, but I don't know. I didn't like it. It wasn't a... I don't know, they had something against the hometown heroes on this particular Raw. Foreshadowing. Rusev would squash Enzo Amore again. He won by DQ, or Enzo won by DQ, but it was bad, so there's still Big Cass, Rusev, probably going to happen at Roadblock yet again, but let's just do it at Enzo's expense and keep squashing him week to week on Raw. Number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship, Rich Swann, defeated Noam Dar with Brian Kendrick on commentary. Rich Swann had a match with Brian Kendrick on the inaugural episode of 205 Live, which happened last night after SmackDown, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the show. In absolutely colossal, huge, Roman-esque Empire news, the big dog, the guy, Roman Reigns, defeated Kevin Owens clean for his chance at the WWE Universal title at hashtag WWE Roadblock End of the Line, which is damn near half the characters of a tweet right there. If you didn't see this coming, it might be time to see an optometrist, because there was despite them trying to build something with Seth there, they kind of squashed that. Now we got Roman and KO for just the Universal title, I think, at Roadblock. No US title on the line, which is very strange. I think they should put the US title on the line too. I hope they do, because with Roman carrying that belt out behind his back like it's a backpack, you can't see it and you forget it exists. So, I don't know. Very powerful promo from Paul Heyman with a backstage interview with Michael Cole, where we saw him reveal that Brock is going to be in the Royal Rumble along with Goldberg. So there are two confirmed superstars for the Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, and if I'm any of the 28 other individuals, I would just take a pass on the Royal Rumble. I just wouldn't bother, because oh my, it's gonna be bad, but good at the same time. I can't wait. In tag team title action, the New Day successfully defended their tag team championships against the Club for the millionth time. The New Day's reign is now at 465 days. That is a year and 100 days. God, so 2 weeks from tomorrow, they beat the record. And then after that, it's a roll of the dice on whether or not they lose them. So I am counting down the minutes. I like New Day, but it's time for someone else to get those belts. Hopefully Cesaro and Sheamus, because they had a great bar segment on Raw this past week, and it really, I think, pushed Sheamus over as a face. A little shout out to What Culture's Jack the Jobber, who said, remember that time, like alluding to the future and be like, oh, remember how Sheamus went face? He's like, yeah, he beat up a bunch of civilians in a bar. I thought that was kind of a cheeky remark, and so kudos to Jack. I am a Jack mark. The cheeky sucks. And the main event was actually made after the match had already got double counted out halfway through the show. It was a match with women's champion Charlotte defending her title against the legit boss, the legit botch, Sasha Banks. They would double count out halfway through the show. The match got remade for later on in the show, being a no DQ, no count out, false count anywheres match, where Sasha Banks would make Charlotte tap out to a Banks statement in between guardrails. It was a pretty gross looking submission maneuver, and the match overall was very entertaining. But this paints a very messy hodgepodge as far as the women's championship picture goes. They have a great feud. It's getting a bit boring, especially when we all thought they were going to double down on the Charlotte Bayley feud, but I'm kind of also in the same boat where I don't think Bayley's ready for that yet. Her mic skill is poor, shaky. I don't think she's used to the big crowds yet. And she's never really been good at promos anyway, if you go back and watch some of the stuff in NXT. Like, she's very passionate, obviously, but she can't do a cold promo to save her life. And her in-ring ability has not been very good. It hasn't translated well to the main roster for whatever reason, so Maybe they're putting the pin in that for now, and they're going to keep going with Charlotte and Sasha, but Charlotte would lose in her hometown of Charlotte, North Carolina. Remember when I said foreshadowing before? That's what this was right now. And what's this? What's this up here? I'm going to cover 205 Live. They had their first episode after SmackDown last night, and it was an hour long, and it was headlined by the Cruiserweight Championship match between the Brian Kendrick and Rich Swann. I checked it out. It was actually, it was fine. They brought out the main roster to start the show, 15 men, and a lot of good names there. Jack Gallagher was one that we haven't seen yet on Raw, so it was kind of good to see him in there. Akira Tozawa was also a good one because he's got a hell of a German suplex. I don't know if you guys watched the Cruiserweight Classic at all, but yeah, he's got great stuff. And Gran Metalik, who was actually the runner-up in the Cruiserweight Classic, he is actually getting some more exposure now thanks to 205 Live. We had 3 matches on the card. We had the Bollywood Boys defeat Tony Nese and Drew Gulak. Second match of the night saw Jack Gallagher defeat Daivari. Ultimately, the main event, we had Rich Swann defeat the Brian Kendrick clean after 3 super kicks. Rich Swann is now the Cruiserweight Champion. He cut a promo. The promo package before the match sold me on Rich Swann. I haven't been a fan of Rich Swann's antics. I'm not a fan of the danciness. He's just not serious enough. And then they've been trying to, on the announcer's side of things, play up this story where he had to fend for himself from a young age, and it was a really weird juxtaposition. But he cut a promo at the start, like in the promo package, that was really, really good. And then his post-match promo was also very good, where he dedicated the win to his mom. He's won me over, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy to be behind the new Cruiserweight Champion in Rich Swann. All in all, 205... That's twice. All in all, 205 Live was perfectly fine. It was fun. It was an hour. If you have the network, toss it into your rotation. If you can find time to watch 5 hours of wrestling a week, 6-ish if you include like Talking Smack and Talking Raw Talk or whatever the hell it is, then you can easily work 205 Live into the rotation. 205 Live into the rotation as well. I can't say that for the life of me. Ugh. Also, check out Talking Smack this week because The Miz hosted over Daniel Bryan. There was no Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon on SmackDown this week, so yeah, Miz hosted Talking Smack as Mike Mizanin with Renee, and just Miz being fantastic. That's going to end this week's edition of the Hot Tag. Let me know what you guys thought of wrestling this week. Raw, SmackDown, and now the new 205 Live. Was there anything you like, anything you didn't like, anything I didn't call out? Let me know in the comments down below. Just a heads up, guys, that tomorrow we will have our special WWETLC predictions episode where myself, Dawson, look to finally end the abysmal, just sluggish reign of Brad. We got to get that belt off him because he is just awful. Love you, Brad. No, I don't. And then we got to see how those predictions pan out this Sunday for WWETLC. Make sure that you're following us over on twitch.tv/neveroverlive, where we'll be having our WWETLC live viewing party with the pre-show starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern. The way it's always been. Survivor Series got me thrown right off. Also, late edit, almost totally forgot, the Never Over Live People's Championship. We have 2 inaugural champions who are right down here, Bala and Captain Mushmoo. They successfully were able to predict or have the most picks right for WWE Survivor Series. We're going to be doing it again for WWETLC. Can they retain their titles? Do you want to be Never Over Live People's Champion? Make sure that you fill out the Never Over Live TLC People's Championship survey, and that is going live right now. So you can click down in the description down below for a link to try your best. I mean, we have a great time doing it. We want to make you a part of it. So fill out those picks. See if you can become the Never Over Live People's Champion. Can you dethrone these 2 down over here? Can you lay your claim to being one of the greatest bookers of all time? We want to see it. We want to know if you got it in you. So make sure that you click that link, fill out that survey. But thank you so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.